Do not try and take apart this shifter unless you absolutely need to. With this video, it shouldn't be too difficult, but it is very time consuming. I would highly recommend first removing any cables. The brake cable, which is this one here, doesn't need to be removed before disassembly or reassembly or anything, but the shifter cable definitely does. I tried taking it apart with the shifter cable still installed, and I almost broke something. Just don't do that. Yeah. In this video, nothing is lubricated. It's all dry. It's all been boiled and cleaned, so you can see it better. But definitely grease it up before you put it back together. All right, enjoy. All right, so there are lots of tutorials, videos, and diagrams on the internet for how to take apart the Shimano, I'm pronouncing that wrong, it's Japanese, sorry, 5500, the ST-5500. But there's nothing that goes into the gearbox. It's kind of a black box in terms of internet sourcing. You can't really find out anything. So I'm going to be showing you how to take it apart. I stayed up till 4 a.m. last night figuring out how to take it apart, so pardon me, you know, bear with me if I'm a little bit out there, but I'm going to start by taking off this screw. Oh, and the only parts that I have remaining from, actually I'm going to get up and grab the other one. The only parts that I have remaining from taking it off are this rubber sleeve. Where's the, I also had a little plastic thingy. I don't know where it is. Okay. There's a little piece of plastic, a little cover piece of plastic that I don't know where it goes, but it doesn't really matter. This thing for keeping it actually on the bike. There's a screw that essentially like clamps itself onto the bike handle, and these two screws for the optional what's this thing called, the flight deck. I ripped out the flight deck because it wasn't working and I never used it anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna take out this screw. Okay, take off the little plastic piece, take off this bolt. Okay, underneath that bolt, we've got this little thing with a little washer underneath it. I don't exactly remember where this washer goes. I think it goes right on top of this and underneath this bolt. You can find out in some diagrams, I think. But also, oh, I am sure because I checked the other one. I took it apart. It was just 4 a.m. when I did it. Okay, where's my tweezers? There. Okay. So then you just pop this thing out. Actually, I can just... Ooh, one more screw I almost forgot to take out. Yeah, there's a hidden screw back here. It's right in there. Okay. And it has two washers underneath it. There's a brass one and a silver one. And the silver one's pretty thin. Okay. This thing also has this little plastic piece right here under it. Okay, and then we got another bolt. Now, actually taking this thing apart all the way down to the bare bones and putting it back together, it's a little bit of work to get like the springs and everything to stay in place. So I might not take it apart all the way, we'll see. Who knows here? Sorry, I can move the camera down a little bit. You can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Okay. Okay, and then now we're gonna have to start applying pressure here just to kind of keep this thing from springing out. Here's this plate. Note that the tab goes up. Okay, now we can remove the plastic housing. Now, last night, to check if it was working, I foolishly moved the gears around. I clicked it around before I had the new thing in, so there wasn't enough tension to release it, so that's also why I'm taking it apart. Honestly, the most difficult spring is this one, because it needs to click into this housing, and it's kind of annoying. This is this washer that has the flight deck stuff in it. I think it's a compressive resistor or something like that. I'm not totally sure. Okay. And for me, this thing comes off in one big unit, but I've seen people describe this as not coming off in one big unit. So your experience may vary. Here, this is not the one big unit. Here we go. Just another little thingy. This thing's kind of important. This is it. Oh, spring just fell out of it. I'll show you where to put that later. Okay. Okay, I'm taking it all the way apart. Here we go. Once I'm here, may as well. Okay, so now at this point, so you can see better, I'm gonna take back of an X-Acto knife handle, stick it back there, so that you guys can see all the way down in there. It's not covered by this housing. Okay, so we got this piece. Oh, no, that's the piece of plastic. I did know where to put it. Okay. So now I'm just gonna take this little spring, and this is what grabs the gears and helps them click back using this handle. Okay, just gonna remove this thing. Now I'm gonna remove this. Note that the tab goes up. And then we got a washer. And then we got this funny looking piece of thing. I don't know what to call it. It's got like a little wing on one side. I'll show you where to put that soon. This spring. And then another washer. So with this part, you have to pull this thing up and over this little gap right here, because it'll naturally sit on this, but you can't get a lot of those parts on unless you put it up and over, just because this thing right here gets in the way. This thing right here. Sorry, I'm not the best at using a camera. Okay, so now to reconstruct it, I have not taken this thing apart. I'm not going to take this thing apart. For me, it sticks together. I guess I'll show you where this spring goes, actually. Okay, this spring right here. Here, I'll grab with the tweezers so maybe you can see it better. It's got like a wing coming straight out on one side and another one going straight out on the, so one's on the y-axis, one's on the x-axis basically. And we're just gonna put that, oh shit, set this down. Put that with the y-axis one coming out, so it's down. And it's gonna go right into this little hole here. God damn it. I can do this by hand. And we're just hooking this thing so it's in this hole and it's on this peg. And it'll kind of stay on this peg by itself for the rest of the assembly if you get it to hook into this one little spot. Which okay, it's in. Cool. Couldn't really see. All right. Next piece, where are we? Okay. This thing goes on, and then we have to put this plate on, and this little tab is going to go on the right side. Next we have this strange little spring. Oh, we can put the strange little spring on after this thing. I just use my fingers. Okay. Cool. Note that the this thing's lining up with this. Okay. And so I got this little tab thing to go over this plate and this spring, which is what I was looking for there. All right, is there anything else? No, I think we're ready for the plate. Yep, ready for the plate. All right, so we got all the way up to this washer on. We're gonna position this thing so this tab is above, and be sure that this spring here, I don't know if you can really see that, is rotated into that little notch and is hooking. Like it just turned outwards, so I know that it's hooking. Oh, sorry, you couldn't really see. There's the camera. Yeah, so this spring here that we put on needs to be in the correct orientation. And the farther out that it is, the better, because we're later gonna be hooking it onto the little slit that's on this thing, right in there. Okay, so now that that's on, we can pop this thing on the top, just like, something like that. Oh, actually, this little wing needs to go on this side of the spring, the little piece there. Okay. Now we put on this guy, and for this one, it has its own spring in it on the bottom. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate it clockwise until it is giving you a little bit of resistance and wants to like click in. So now we can force that guy down on there, and it should spin around something like that. So it's an ornery little son of a bitch. Okay. Oh, no need to swear on this thing. Okay. So now we just got to make sure that this tab is going through. So you can't really see this maneuver, but it's like pinching it, sliding it over with something. There we go. Again, tweezers are totally essential. Let's see, what are we on next? This thing goes down top first. At first I thought it went like that, but it does not. It goes on like a T, that's wide on the top. Then this thing goes on. And for this one, you want to make sure that this little thingy right here is clamping on either side of this, that little thing right there, and that the part where the wire grabs is on the same side. Also that this, shit. Maybe the X-Acto knife wasn't the best way to keep this thing open. And that this this clip here, when you assemble it, starts on this first gear right here and not on any of the other ones, which can very easily happen like that. And you'll just need to reset it like so. Okay. From now here on out, you're definitely going to want to be applying pressure to the top. Oh, forgot one thing. All right, So now you've got this thing orientated correctly with this thing clicking properly, and you know, it wants to slide around and it can kind of be a pain in the ass. Okay, this thing orientated properly. This one should be clicking into the first gear, that one right there, just like that. And this little wing that's got little wings on both sides on there. And this spring, which we talked about earlier, inside the groove that you might be able to see right in there. We don't want to let this handle move around a whole lot right now because it, for me, will, and it probably shouldn't, but seems to be working all right. Oh, and make sure that the spring is wound up the right way. We are going to put on, oh man, it's not good. Magnets, damn it. This spring, it's just gonna, that was a sound I don't like. It's gonna sit right in there later. Whatever that sound was. Okay, and then we're gonna put on this spring, and this is gonna have the one on the x-axis popping out sideways down first, and while applying pressure, we're gonna just drop it in there so that it goes right into that groove. And then we're gonna take this T1 and we're gonna put it with the notches going north-south right into there. And congratulations, you have done the brunt of the work. Okay. From here on out, it was pretty simple. It was just putting in all these little gaskets and washers, and they all kind of click together one way. Let's see if I can remember how to do it. Let's see. That one goes with those. This one goes with those. That one's separate from those. This one goes on last. Okay, so I think it's this one next. No, it's not. It's this one. And this just makes way for this one, which is that compressive optional washer I was talking about earlier. I'm not totally sure if it's optional. I did cut off the ribbon because as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't going to use it anymore, and I figured like just get it out of the way. I guess you could argue it saves a little bit of weight, but not really. It'll only line up in one orientation or maybe two. It's kind of a pain in the ass to put on. There we go. Okay, so I guess the answer to that is that you want the ribbon cable going up top. Alrighty. And for here, I think we're ready for our first washer, but I'm not totally certain. Does this have wear marks? No, not in the orientation I'm looking at. Okay. So this goes right on top of there. And this one goes on just like this, with this one on top of it. Yeah, so it is washer time. Just verifying. Just checking. Sorry, this video is not designed to have crispy edits. I'll just be posting it right away because it's finals week and I should not be doing this. Actually, it's the week before finals week, which is even worse. Cool. Once that thing's down, my bottom one still wiggles a little bit and that worries me, but it should be all right. We'll see. If it is, it's because that I'm missing a part, missing like a washer or something all the way down here at the bottom. But I don't think it is a problem because when I put in the screw right here that has the two washers that I mentioned earlier, the gold and the silver one right here, it tends to like, and that goes in right there. It tends to bind up real well and not wiggle anymore, but I feel like it shouldn't wiggle. Okay, so now we can put this thing on. This notorious, I hate you. Okay, and to do that, maybe I can do it a little bit better this time. We're gonna bring back this spring that really hurts your finger. And we're gonna try and get it underneath the housing here. Ow, ooh, okay. Man, I am not a Japanese robot. I cannot assemble these quite as well. I'm not calling Japanese people robots. I just think robots did this rather than people. If I can nip that one in the bud. Okay. And then we're just going to be twisting it so that it goes into this groove that's right in here with this spot right here where the pin should inevitably go. Come on. Ah, man, there it goes. Yeah, so it can be, okay, so if we're looking in here, we got a lot going on. You got these two little grooves on both sides of this gap, and that's where this panel slides or clips in depending on how you install it. It'll just go right there. This is the black piece that I thought I was missing earlier. And then the spring either goes in here or in here. I don't know, and I'm not totally sure that it matters. We should be able to tell by just finding out how far down it'll go. Yeah, it looks like it could maybe clip into that. And it is so hard. I'm gonna pause until I get this. All right, I got it. It only took like 10 minutes, but you can't really see, but if you look in here really carefully, you might be able to catch the light just enough to see that this little spring, this little line of light here is it's clipped just past here, like right tucked underneath this plastic housing, but in this hole, not this one. And once that's on, you can just, man, that really hurts your fingers. Slide this guy on. Oh, maybe I should have put that bolt on after. Yep, putting that bolt on after. Also, I didn't grease any of this before I put it back together. That was maybe a bad idea. I wanted to make a very clear video of how this thing goes together. Okay, yeah, there's another spring back in here. Here we go, right here. That might fall out for you and it might not. For me, it's not coming out right away, but okay, there we go. It's got this little tip going up on the y-axis and this one coming out on the z-axis, sorry, on the x-axis. X or z, doesn't really matter. And the one coming up on the y-axis, coming straight up, is gonna go right into here, into this little hole. And once it does, it doesn't really want to come out. It's usually pretty happy there. And when we are bending this thing into shape, it just needs to hook onto this tab here, I think. Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty. Cool, that's pretty easy to do. All right, once that's on, this thing goes on. We can loosely put on this washer first, then the bolt. And this is, again, loosely, because then we got to put on the screw that's in the back. For that, I'm going to pop off this thing. I'm going to stack both of the washers together. And they should stick together just a little bit from residual oils and things. Also, metals will naturally stick together if you can put them under enough pressure. And I'm just going to try and slide this underneath this little thing with the little ridges that just help keep this screw that also has ridges, which is one way to distinguish it from the other screws that have flat bottoms, like that. Ouch. I don't think it matters which washer you put where, as long as they're lined up and you slide them underneath. I wouldn't be surprised if in later models they switched this out for one thicker washer, or if this was like an aftermarket thing on mine where somebody replaced or like added a second washer. People tend to do stuff like that. Okay. Really wish this screw was magnetic. It's not. Okay. It's at a little bit of an angle, so, you know, I have to strip it. Also, don't move it sideways. Don't do that, because then the whole ratchet mechanism will move. And without this thing under tension in this hole, which you should be able to see through when we pull the brake, I can see through it. White background, maybe? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can see through it. Alrighty. Okay. Now you put in this little plastic piece, and you can try and like do a mixture of sliding it in and clipping it in. Just whatever works. There you go. It's just to help prevent like dust and grime and stuff from getting in that gearbox there. And you can take it out again too with pliers. These two screws I won't need because they're for the flight deck housing. This one I will definitely need. This goes right onto here for some reason. No idea why. Yay, magnetic screws. We love it. We love it. And there you are. It's all back together. Isn't this thing just a charm to work on? We love it. Okay. Well, hope you found this helpful. I hated it. Yeah. Goodbye.